Thyroid eye disease, it's like your eyes are full of sand from the beach. That's how dry they are. They get dry, they get teary, and they begin to protrude. They bulge out like you've been shocked. I had a total of 8 surgeries. Thanks to all 8 of those surgeries, I now have vision. I still don't have the true vision that I need today, but I am grateful for where I am.
I was diagnosed with Graves' disease, quite unexpectedly in a Navy re-enlistment physical. And after that, it just continued to get worse. Couldn't drive to work unless I wore a patch. So I'm at the point right now where I've had 22 eye surgeries. I've been left with permanent double vision.
I really clung to my day-to-day life. I was not gonna let it go. I love to be outdoors, but the light was burning my eyes. But instead, I just got bigger glasses. So I just, I kept trying to adapt to things.
I can't remember not having art be a part of who I am. I got into working with using my art with people with rare diseases, specifically neurofibromatosis, simply because my oldest son was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis when he was 4 months old. And probably similar to many people when they encounter a rare disease, I hadn't heard of it. And at that time, I was really frustrated that nobody had heard about it. And how are his teachers supposed to him if they don't know what that is? And so, to be perfectly honest, since I wasn't raising awareness and I really wasn't doing anything, I kind of got on social media and found people who had this rare disease who were advocates. And the best thing I can do is paint a portrait to say thank you. Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Have a seat. Get comfortable.
Thank you so much.
Have you ever had anybody draw or paint your portrait before?
No.
Excellent. Then I have nothing to be compared to. Today's gonna be fun. I want to find out what we're gonna be doing, what we're gonna be painting, how you want to be depicted, and I get the privilege to figure out how to depict all 3 of these individuals the way they want to be presented to the public, which is kind of exciting. Who is Jake? Like, what does he enjoy doing? And oh, by the way, he has TED. The diagnosis is secondary to who you are, no matter what you're living with. Portrait painting is a slow process. Don't let anyone tell you different. But I like that. So I think there's something nice and magical in the fact that I'm gonna spend some time with these people. I like that. I think that gives it a deeper meaning and a deeper relationship and connection. Have you some hobbies or some other things that you think would make for kind of an interesting image?
I love to be in motion.
All right.
And my favorite ways are my bicycle.
All right.
My bicycle and we have a long-standing relationship. And so I live in Monterey, right on the coast, Monterey, California. Rachel asked me to bring a photo of myself, and so one I chose was we live in Monterey, and this is Lover's Point in Monterey, and it's myself and my husband. And I was telling her about these little dresses that I wear. So it's just being with him in the setting, which I hope I will always live there. And yeah, so that's why I chose this photo.
So I am curious, as somebody who doesn't live with TED, I truly don't know, does having TED impact like bicycling?
It did at one time, definitely. I didn't stop doing them, but it did impact me. The first thing I actually noticed was light sensitivity. So I would, I was raised in Southern California and very used to being outdoors by the beach, sunglasses or not. But I became very light sensitive to where even a light in a room could just like burn my eyes. Eventually, when I got surgeries, I had 6 surgeries on my eyes, 6, 7 surgeries. And one of the surgeries, they moved my eyes back into position. They came way out and they're like just dangling. And so when they put my eyes back in on one of the surgeries, it created just a horrible, chaotic double vision. So I first noticed the symptoms in 2009. You have to fight really hard to keep your confidence level up. Because when your physical appearance, especially your face, is, out of your control, your whole face changes and not for the better. Emotionally, that is a difficult thing to deal with. One thing is I stopped looking people in the eye. I've just relearned how to do that, but I could not make eye contact because I wouldn't want people looking at my eyes. So I would always be like looking away. So that was an emotional, mountain. You could walk in a room and people would like look towards me like, wow, what's wrong with her? And that's a really lousy feeling. The healing is really in reaching out. It's not in withdrawing. There's no benefit to withdrawing, but there's tremendous benefit to reaching out. And that is where I want to give the encouragement.
What do you think going forward with this painting, like what do you think you'd want to be doing in the painting?
I've been fascinated with aviation since I was 12. And I said, I want to work on them one of these days. And when I joined the Air Force, I ended up being an F-111 mechanic. And prior to that, I was always interested in making model airplanes, gliders. And so I worked on fighter jets in the Air Force. And then I got out and went to work, and I got a phone call to go work on the space program. In my last 27 years, I worked on a space program.
That is super cool.
Yeah, Shuttle, Atlas, Delta, Titans. And so my whole life has been aviation.
Oh, yeah.
And our biggest joke when we sit around table. Well, I like that Rachel asked me questions about what I like to do and what I might like to have the portrait look like. I originally sent this photograph, which was when we did a filming with Gail Devers. And her and I actually had a lot in common. That's what I was thinking was we were both diagnosed within about 3 months of each other. It started out going to be this picture, and then it ended up me building a model airplane. I do that. So if she's going to capture me sitting underneath my magnifying glass working on an model airplane that I'm later going to be able to actually physically take out and fly, that's pretty cool.
So I'm thinking something where we could have you looking down like this, like a little bit looking down, working on your airplane. Mm-hmm. Is it one of those round ones for the magnifying glass?
Yeah, the big lit man, yeah.
Today's been an education for me. So I have to ask, with all these different jobs that you've talked about working through, I mean, did your TED have any impact on being able to do this? Or
yeah, actually, I was working for the space program. I was a Navy reservist, and I found I had Graves and TED at the same time.
Oh.
And
that seems kind of different than other.
It is very different.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing my Navy physical, and my heartbeat was 168 beats a minute. So they sent me to the ER because they thought I was having thyroid storm. And there was an endocrinologist at the ER, and it was.
So there's an endocrinologist in the ER when you went?
Yeah, I was just lucky that he happened to be there that day. It was just pure luck.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, just at least from the conversations I've had today, that you would get them both diagnosed at the same time. So
that's very rare.
Well, so that's kind of interesting, though. So if, in some regards, though, like what about family and stuff? I mean, if we're looking at pictures of you 4 years ago, 2 years ago now, like wouldn't your family have noticed?
No, so gradually you just don't notice.
Okay, so then they just get used to what
They just get used to it as it gradually gets worse. That's just how you look. Prior to my decompressions, I was starting to lose my color vision. And I was getting to the point where my eye doctor in Miami said, Jake, I think you're going to have to go to the Association for the Blind and start to learn how to live with low vis. Because if this doesn't work, you will lose your sight. I never thought about being blind. That was very scary. I wanted to see my family grow up and be a grandfather, which I am now, to 2 granddaughters, and I'm getting to watch them grow. So that's how important it is to me.
The tides come in. So what else? So what other hobbies?
I'm an outdoors girl.
Outdoors.
Picking pecans off the tree. Once
Really?
somebody else climbs it and shake it.
Wait. Picking pecans. That would be an awesome painting. I have never painted anybody picking pecans off of a tree. And you enjoy doing it?
I do.
What are your thoughts about that for a painting?
That's wonderful.
Okay.
That's home.
Not that I'm guiding you in any way.
No,
But
but
I'm
that's
just
that's
saying.
home. That's what I'm used to. That's what I grew up doing.
Picking pecans. Can you just eat them straight like that too? Like can you just
Yes, once we pick them up.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know what a pecan tree looks like, so I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Oh, okay.
I'm just blobbing in. This is blobbing in a tree. But I've got some ideas, so you can tell me where you think as far as positioning.
I like the fact she's gonna do some homework so that she can find out what a pecan tree looks like. Yeah, I can appreciate all the things that she's going to do. She's had pecan pie, but she's never seen the tree and where the pecans come from. And I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting too because I've never done anything like this before. Oh, this is my favorite photo. This wreath that's hanging on my door was made for me. My cousin had it made for me because she knows that Alabama is my favorite college team. I have on the purple, which has always been my favorite color. This picture means a lot. Just like watching the tide roll in. And that purple is so royal. That also helps me with who I am because that's a powerful color. It keeps away negativity. This is why I was able to stay strong in my head while I'm going through TEDS because of that royalty.
Do you have other family members and stuff that also?
Well, they didn't know at the time what I was going through. I couldn't share it with them because I didn't know what I was going through my own self.
Oh, okay. Until you got, like I said, until you finally got the diagnosis in 2006.
Well, by that time, I was totally blind. So, I didn't
totally?
really, by that time, I had already lost the right eye. So I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
But just to be told that you would never see again, can you imagine having your sight all that time and then you get hit with these rare diseases and you're told you're never going to see again?
No.
Because everything was going on for so long undetected. When I lost the sight in my left eye, I began to rapidly lose sight in my right eye. I never went out, but I wouldn't let nobody see me. I covered all the mirrors in the house because I didn't want to see myself. The kids used to tease me and say, oh my God, look at the monster. It was a mental experience that I'll never forget because all I could do was cry. Never give up. Don't quit. Find out who you are. Pull that strength from within inside of you and say, I can beat this.
You know what I mean? And then once you get a diagnosis and once you get a name for it, that also means that you suddenly will start surrounding yourself with others that have it, or a bit of a community? So
No, not right away,
Not right
because
away.
I had to take it all in.
Right.
You know, I became like a recluse. I had to be to myself and figure out what this disease was. Since I didn't have any vision to look it up, read about it, I had to wait.
Okay.
I just had to go through what I was going through. And actually, my sight was restored January of 2012. So I'm celebrating 11 years with vision.
Very
With-
awesome. Very awesome.
It may not be 20/20 vision, but it's vision.
It's vision.
It's vision. You know, when you're going through trials, testing your health, when you lose your sight, not really knowing if you're going to get it again, it makes you stronger than what you really are. Where I thought I was weak, I was actually at my strongest point ever. She doesn't know about TED, so each story that she hears, she gets a little bit of information from each person who is living with TED and who has met her. And I think that's a good thing, because we're more vulnerable with her, so she can paint that through the arts.
She's super easy to talk with and just has a very, very comfortable, heartfelt conversation. When Rachel's done with my portrait, I hope that it conveys, kind of like it sparks a light inside of people.
The word I use is validation. Because a lot of times we sit there and, am I crazy? Is anybody else going through this? Yeah, it's validation. And validation is very empowering. That's what I think I get out of it.
Today's experience was a lot of fun. It's always exciting for me. I love, obviously, meeting people, being able to hear their life stories, and then try to brainstorm together, collaborate together on a painting that each one of them should hopefully enjoy and stuff. But the most fun is just seeing where stuff starts and where it ends. At the end of the day, I hope LaQuilla, Jake, and Christine look at their portraits and realize how beautiful they look, how fascinating they are, how interesting they are, all mitigated through another artist's perspective.